Well, welcome everyone to our second edition of Seminar Sundays. Tonight's special is on what are sponsors, mentors, and coaches, all about sponsors, mentors, and coaches. Tonight we have three people who are going to be doing presentations for you, or giving this presentation. They are Jan Ireland, DTM, your Club Growth Director. We also have Chris Kozakowski, who is the Club Coach Coordinator and past District Governor. She's also DTM. And we have Jeff Galanzowski, who is our retention chair, and I don't remember his designation. So please welcome our three presenters for tonight's presentation. And take it away, Jan.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm pleased to be able to present this session, and please feel free to call in, write in, if you have subjects for other seminars that you want to recommend. Let Michael Bound know, but there's a great list of them all the way to June. We'll give contact information at the end of this session in case you want to find out more information or any of your questions weren't already answered. So tonight we'll be talking about what's the difference between club sponsors, mentors, and club coaches. Well, there's a lot to talk about, so we'll get started. I know that some people have logged into the chat area, so welcome in. And as I say, please write in your comments and questions while I'm talking. And when we get to the question and answer portion, or if we can respond immediately, we will do so in the session. So first of all, in our next slide, we'll discuss what are the benefits of being a sponsor, a mentor, or a coach. So what the benefits are: you can enhance your leadership skills, develop project management abilities, expand your marketing expertise. New clubs that you work on can fulfill a specific need that share the benefits to Toastmasters where clubs don't already exist. It's very satisfying to be part of a new club. It's a unique experience that leaves a permanent legacy, and not very many people can say they're a charter member of a club. So as far as coaching is concerned, you can help a struggling club achieve success. It's very rewarding and empowering. The benefits to you as a Toastmaster is you get credit toward your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Many of us locally are close to achieving our DTM in the legacy program or the traditional program, and we're motivated to finish that in the next 2 years. So all of these can be credited in both the legacy program and the pathways program. The next slide we have shows how different the credit is on the pathways program. As you can see on the right hand side, you need to be unlike being one sponsor or one coach or one mentor credit for the legacy DTM. For the pathways, you need to be a club mentor or a club coach, one or the other of those. Plus, you have to either be a club sponsor or lead a speech craft or lead a youth leadership program. I just wanted to point out to everyone that that's the difference. And if you wanted to review this later on, this PowerPoint will be available, so you can look it up later when it's convenient. One question come through, so thanks for that. I haven't wanted to continue at the moment. So now the roles of a sponsor and a mentor. We'll talk about those next on slide number 5, because unlike coaching, these two roles specifically are related to starting a brand new Toastmasters club. And what sponsors do is they help create the new club. They build a team. They find a meeting location. If it's a community club, yes, thank you, John. They build a community club, then they might choose a purpose for the club and contact members individually. If it's a corporate club, they might contact the members of a corporation to get buy-in for a club. So they may have a meeting with the corporation representatives if that's the case, but essentially in order to get the club going, they would conduct a demo meeting. So they need the sponsors, and there could be 2 for each new club. 2 sponsors can get credit. They will plan the presentation, they'll publicize the event, and they will gather a minimum of 20 possibly committed members. They will plan and organize a quality meeting with quality presenters, and it will be a brief meeting, won't have every single aspect of a normal Toastmasters meeting, but just enough to feed the enthusiasm of those who attend. They would follow that by a question and answer period. Keep it simple, stay on time. We want to show them the best that we can be, and close the sale. There are some resources that will show that will be provided for you later. And by completing the charter, by bringing the club to charter status, they will send a form to Toastmasters International to request that a club be established. So in that next slide, we refers to completing the charter. There are 6 forms basically that are filled out. The resources at the end of this presentation will be there to show you what they are and how to access them. So you need a minimum of 20 individuals to pay, and they would pay possibly a new member fee unless they're an existing or past Toastmaster, and they would pay for a full 6 months of dues. So whatever that amount is for your club, doesn't matter if you join in September, November, it's the first 6 months of dues. So that's why you want to get things started in earnest for them and get the club chartered. So you'll announce a meeting, and amongst the individuals who choose to join, you'll select temporary officers and follow up with reminder notices. And definitely at the meeting, you will give recognition to everyone who has supported the new club in starting. Now, part of what you do, I mentioned finances. There's a charter fee, which is a 6 months. The charter fee is US $20. So some clubs charge perhaps maybe $40 or $30 in order to cover the US exchange and the 6 months of dues. Plus, there is a new club charter fee. It's $125 US. If you need to find a financial sponsor to pay that, it might be the organization, if it's a corporate or company club, or it might be an individual, or maybe another existing Toastmasters club might support you in that way. And that fee of US $125 has to be sent in with the Form 1. And in addition to that, you need to think about what portion of the club cost might the company pay if it's a company-sponsored club, and how much you'll need to pay for dues depending on what kind of situation you are in as far as needing to pay rent for your meeting space. And for a community club, you'll need to find a venue and do basically the same. Decide how much will the dues be for that club. Once you have the funds, you need to designate a method to hold the payments, because you need to hold them in a secure place, and need to take accountability for the money. So you may need to hold them for a while until they are sent to Toastmasters International. And to do that, you might deposit the funds and account for them into an individual account, or perhaps the account of a Toastmasters club that's willing to allow you to pay the money into their club account, and then they will write the check when you pay it out. So that is the sponsor. Now, the next we'll like to talk about mentors. So in the next slide, say one or two sponsors will get the club started. They get it chartered, and you can have one or two mentors, and the mentors support the club for a minimum of 6 months. They can get credit after 6 months if the club president acknowledges in writing that they have fulfilled that commitment. But we do recommend that a mentor, that both mentors ideally, that you stay with the club for a full 12 months, because there are events that happen only once in a year, and you really want to get that club off to a really solid start, because nothing can be worse than a club who gets a start and then is not supported and cannot sustain itself very well. So again, the mentors earn credit towards their distinguished Toastmaster status. And at the end of this presentation, there is a form that we'll have attached. Is 2 resources links. One is for club coaching, and the other one is resources for chartering a new Toastmasters club. And that is designed to help you go through the process successfully. So now, yes, let's move on to club coaching. So in order to discuss the role of the coach, I'll just start by saying the role of the coach is to support an existing club with low membership numbers. They have to have a minimum of 1 person and a maximum of 12 members in order for the club to be eligible to receive the services of a coach. And the coach themselves will help the club become a quality club, enhance their meetings that will empower the members of the club. And so next, if I could ask Jeff to tell us a bit more about coaching an existing club.
Great. Thanks, Jan. Thanks for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My role here this evening is to talk a bit about club coaching. So if we look at the district mission statement, we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Club coaches and club retention really come into play when it comes to the second part of that statement, helping clubs to achieve excellence. In being assigned as a club coach, you have the opportunity for personal growth, but you play a big part in the role of clubs as well. Clubs that are low membership, being able to help them work towards becoming a distinguished club, select distinguished, even president's distinguished. And there's work that goes into that. All the educational achievements that club members work towards, membership growth of clubs. When you have a chance, take a look at the Distinguished Club program and see what's involved in that, because that really is the criteria for being a successful club coach. Club coach is an official appointment that's made by the district, matching an individual member in good standing, not of the club that you want to club coach, but of another club or clubs. So when you're interested in becoming a club coach, hopefully you have some kind of involvement or some kind of awareness of the club that you're interested in coaching. And it's important that we get that club interested in the process as well, making sure that they're going to be open to you coming in as a club coach. From there, there's some paperwork that needs to be done. That is done through a combination of myself as club retention chair, Chris as club coach trainer, and Jan as the growth director. And that's an official appointment that goes to Toastmasters International. A couple rules, it's really important. The only clubs that are eligible for club coaches are clubs that have 12 members or less. The moment that they put in the application for a 13th member, and that application is accepted for that member, that club is no longer eligible for a club coach. The other real important thing to remember is that you cannot join or be a member of the club before your appointment. If you decide that you want to join the club after your official appointment, that's a decision completely up to you. Some people encourage it, others don't. Anytime that I've been a club coach or been involved at that level with a club, I have decided to join as a member because I think it's a different experience. Being a coach and being a member are two really different things. So do not join the club that you're thinking of being a coach at until the official appointment is made. From there, once again, it's up to you if you decide to join the club, but you're really working to empower the club, to recognize accomplishments in the club, educational awards, new members, the administration goals of the Distinguished Club program in order for that club that you've joined to become a distinguished club at minimum by the end of the Toastmasters year of the year that you join as a club coach or the year after. So you have up to a full year plus for that club to have that success for you to be recognized as a successful club coach. It is being, as Jan mentioned earlier, in both the legacy programs and the pathways programs, being a club coach is part of the criteria of working towards your distinguished your distinguished Toastmasters. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great growth opportunity, and you get to be part of something, helping a club to reestablish itself. And the legacy of that itself can go on for years and years and years. So you're benefiting yourself, you're benefiting the club immediately, and you're benefiting all the people that will go through that club program for years to come. Anybody who's on the line that's interested in being a club coach, please contact the district, myself, or Jan, or Sean, or Chris, anybody on the district team. We will find a club for you. There's lots of need out there, and it's one of the greatest experiences that I had in Toastmasters on my journey so far. So we'll probably touch a little bit more on that. I'll turn it back over to Jan, who I think is going to turn it over to Chris. Thank you, Jan.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff. Very informative. And yes, so next to help complete the picture, Chris will talk about how to proceed. So, welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Jan, and good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the seminar so far. We've talked a little bit about club sponsors. They're the people that get that new club started. Really exciting. They're working with brand new members. We've talked about the club mentor. Again, somebody who's working with the club, but this time they're actually helping that club get off to a really good start, learn those basic procedures and things that need to happen, answering all the questions that those new Toastmasters have. What I'm going to talk about a little bit now is what is a coach and what a coach is and what a coach is not. So a coach is a little bit different than a mentor. Mentors working with those new members, they're excited. They're eager to learn. A coach is going into a club that's got some struggles, and it may just be they're having problems getting members in the club. It may be that there's a conflict in the club, or maybe that club's become very negative in their attitude, all kinds of reasons why clubs struggle. So the mentor or the coach is going in there to help the club identify what are the challenges within the club. In this case, they're dealing with some experienced members, some that are eager to have a coach helping them out, and probably some that are a little bit jaded and may not really like the fact that you're there. So this is an exciting leadership opportunity for you. It's an opportunity to learn more than do more than just help that club, but really dig into yourself and find ways to work with this club. What a coach is not, it's not a person who goes into the club and does things for them, that goes in and tells them, here's what needs doing and here's how to do it. Your job as a coach is much more than that. Your reward at the end, for the club is achieving distinguished status. More important than that, your job as a coach is to actually make some changes within that club environment so that next year and the year after and the year after that club is successful. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, just tell you a little story of something that happened a few years ago. Two friends of mine, two wonderful members, wanted to get their DTM, and they offered to coach a club. And they walked in on their first day. One of the members stood up and said to them, "You're not here to change anything. You're just here to bring us members." Can you imagine what their reaction was? They were already coming up against great opposition. And at the end of the year, they did help to get the members, but two of the members they got were themselves, and others were people that really didn't want to join. They just got the club up to distinguish so that those two coaches could get their DTMs. The following year, what happened? The club needed a coach again. And this has happened year after year after year with this particular club. You can imagine how challenging this opportunity is going to be. But what's the benefit in it? What's the benefit for you, and what's the benefit for the club? Well, we've already mentioned that part of the benefit is you will receive credit towards your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. But the other benefit is what you're going to learn from this experience. You're going to use skills you didn't know you had. You've got, in particular, bringing about change within an organization. Skills such as, I've gone blank here, sorry. You're going to use your interpersonal relationship skills. The first step when you go into this club is establishing a relationship with them. Just sitting back and listening and, making some notes of what things that you're seeing that could be changed. But I want you to imagine somebody coming into your house and saying, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I think you should change this. Your reaction would be, I'm sure, like mine, what do you mean? Your back would go up and you would not be very receptive toward that person. The job of the coach is to go in and just gradually learn about the club, and then get together with the executive and perhaps with the members as you move along, and just continue to build the relationship, and then slowly give them little bits of information. In my mind, the biggest tool that you have in helping to coach a club is moments of truth. If you can conduct moments of truth with that club, receive from them, the members, their guests, what they think of the club, what they think the challenges are. Then you're not telling them, they're telling themselves what that club needs to do. You'll continue working with the club for up to a year, maybe more. And to begin with, you'll be fairly actively involved. You'll probably be helping them out a little bit more than you will as you go along. You want to wean yourself away from the club over the course of the time with them. You're not there to do the job there for them. You're there to help them figure out what needs doing and help them put a plan into place and make that plan into actions that result in a successful club now and for years to come. Think about coaching. It's not an easy job, but the rewards are huge. At the end of the year, when that club's distinguished and you see the change in it, pride, I can't even describe it. It's the best experience I've had within Toastmasters. And if the following year they're still distinguished, or at least their membership's up and and the club's doing much better, you know you've done your job. If you'd like to be a coach, I'd love to talk to you. We're here to support you in your decision and to support you during your time as a coach. with this, I'll turn this back to Jan to talk some more about resources that are available to us. Jan.
Thank you so much, Chris. Remember, everyone listening in, you'll be most welcome to send us questions or comments. We're running quite well on time tonight, so there will be time for answering questions if you send them in. And Chris spoke about resources that we have available to us. And yes, our resources are many. Myself, as for myself, starting out in the club growth director role, it's a steep learning curve for me. So I've spent a lot of time searching for resources, and there are some that are quite straightforward to find, and the ones that are listed on this page are some of those. The Toastmasters International website has many resources available. They will be listed on the attachment to this seminar, so that you can maybe help you navigate through those a little bit more easily. I picked out a number of resources, especially for starting new clubs. Thank you, Raymond, for making up that list, so that you can get exactly to the resources that you need for starting a club, getting the right forms and the right information. So ask. If you're not sure where to find anything, please ask, and any of us on the team. So the District 21 website as well has a wealth of resources. There are resources. There are videos on from past webinars that are very helpful. You can choose them by topic. There are articles. There are 2 articles on the District 21 site that have been added since the start of this new term. One is on club sponsoring and mentoring, and the second one is on club coaching. So those are some examples. And moments of truth. As far as this seminar is concerned, I haven't so far added resources to finding moments of truth links, but Moments of Truth, as Chris said, is an excellent resource. It helps us just look in a mirror and see how we are doing as a club, and it involves every single person, like Chris said, guests and members alike. What is our impressions of what the club offers and what we receive? It's something we need to do for ourselves all the time. So, like I say, make sure you check with us for any guidance that you might need. And if you look at the next slide, it shows the organization chart for Toastmasters. And as you see, Toastmasters is a pyramid. And in the pyramid, the members are the most important. The most important of all the relationships. So you as a member, your relationship as a member is your first important one. Next is your club, which is close to your heart. Then come areas, divisions, districts, and regions around the world. And there's also always the board of directors and the staff from Toastmasters International. So remember that if you're a member, we all want to support one another. We are all equal. We all have an equal say in how our clubs support us and how we support others. And remember, clubs can be supported through the leadership efforts of our members, those who are sponsors. And remember, each club can have 2 sponsors. You're not in it alone. You don't need to create something on your own. If you're looking for an opportunity, just let Chris or myself or Sean or I know, because there may be coaches or there may be clubs who have asked for coaches, or we know that they're in the position of needing a coach. There might be individuals starting new clubs, and they might be looking for someone to make that 6-month commitment as a mentor to keep that club going. And remember your fellow Toastmasters and other leaders. Everyone deserves an opportunity to learn and grow through Toastmasters. If you have any desire to enhance your leadership skills, then please ask someone. There are lots of opportunities. Tell your area director when your area director is completing your club report. If you have your name indicated on the area report, that will be seen by the district team, including myself, and I would contact you and see what kind of role you might wish to take on. And every role, whether even if you repeat a role, but especially if you try something different, it gives you a totally enhanced experience, and that is what we are in Toastmasters for. It's to learn and grow and take ourselves a bit beyond our comfort zone. So remember, your first obligation is to yourself as a member. And just a few notes, since we do have a bit of time, that I've thought of when we've been in the meeting. Coaches, if they were assigned last year, they can be renewed and continue to get success in this following year. Many coaches have attained success in our last year. I was very impressed by looking at the list of clubs that had coaches pending achieving their goals, and that list has been updated recently, and great success has been achieved. So it is a difficult task, like Chris said, but it's not impossible by any means. I know people have already indicated that they wish to become a coach, and I know you have not all been acknowledged, but I promise you'll all receive notice this week, some acknowledgement. As I say, as far my own learning curve is concerned, I want to make sure that I know how to do my role, how to best advise you, and how to best support you in your upcoming roles as coaches, sponsors, and mentors. So if I could suggest, new clubs are meant to fulfill a need that's not currently being met. So we're not trying to force new clubs to start at the expense of existing clubs. That is absolutely not our goal. So we want to be able to enhance both. There are many people who do not yet know the benefits of joining a Toastmasters club, and there's lots of more room to include them. There are a lot of new club ideas still in progress. Some ideas were partially formulated last year before the end of June, and those efforts are still continuing. So we look forward to some exciting opportunities and new clubs to be started. We're all here to support one another. As I say, if you start a new club, up to 4 people can get credit for their distinguished Toastmaster goals if they uplift one another by including each other in the experience. And yes, you'll definitely gain confidence with every role you perform. And another opportunity that won't necessarily give you the exact credit that a club coach, sponsor, or mentor will give is if you wish to have a place on the district team. We have lots of opportunities for people to get involved on the membership, on the club extension side of the club growth team. And club extension means creating new clubs. And on the club retention side, I would like to see us having a representative for those 2 important roles at the district for each geographical area. And by that I mean perhaps for divisions A and B, another for division C, a third representative for divisions E, F, and G, and a 4th for divisions K and L. So this will give a person an eye and a link to what is happening at the district and what the opportunities are. So if you're thinking that you'd like to extend your opportunities in Toastmasters, try something that has a small amount of responsibility, lots of leadership potential, and it'll help to give you a stepping stone to moving forward and fulfill your goals, and maybe some of those goals you didn't even know you had. So before I get into the closing, are there any more questions that we have, or does anyone on the panel wish to make any comments or add any additional information that?
Yeah, Jen, I wanted to add, it's really important on any of these roles that you decide to take on, and once again, I would encourage anybody to take on any of these three roles. It's a wonderful opportunity for your personal growth. It's really important, though, that you remember to keep your own personal journey going when it comes to your pathway or your legacy program. If you're working towards a distinguished Toastmaster, continue to try to speak, evaluate, play regular parts in your club meeting roles. Keep your own journey going as well. It's really easy when we take on these leadership roles to focus entirely on that and let our own journeys stall a little bit. It's a great effort, and it is a time commitment to taking on any of these roles. But we can lead by example. When people see us achieving our advanced communicators or level 1, level 2 on our pathways, we're an example of what's possible for the members, especially the new members. So I would encourage everyone, as you're taking on these roles and these new challenges, just keep a mindful eye on keeping your own journey and your own paths going.
It's Chris here. I agree with Jeff. You need to keep your own path going, and actually these are opportunities for you to do that. So now you've got your own club, but you've also got another club. Whether if you're a mentor, you're going to be speaking within that new club. We'll be giving definitely some educational presentations, and the same thing as a coach. If you're going into a club that's got 8 or 10 members, they're going to want you to be on their agenda and to help them out. So giving some speeches, and you'll continue your own journey. You can actually accelerate your own journey in that way. There is a question: what is the time commitment for a coach? And I would say at the beginning, you want to spend as much time as you can with that club. You want to attend as many meetings as you can, because we don't get a good idea of what that club is like from one meeting. We might just have happened in on a really, a meeting where hardly anybody's there and the speaker didn't show up, or we might happen in on a really good club meeting. So we want to spend more time with the club at that point. You want to attend executive meetings if you can. So you're seeing how the executive is operating and giving them some feedback on how they could maybe do things differently. You're going to be helping them put their success plans together. But over time, as I said, you want to kind of wean yourself away. Coaches are appointed, in order to get credit as a club coach, your credit towards your DTM, the club has to reach distinguished status by the end of the year. That's the end of that Toastmasters year. So you're with the club until the club achieves success, is distinguished in that calendar year. If they don't make it, you can serve a second year with that club. So the full timeline can really vary. If you may be appointed as a coach in December and you're finished your job at the end of June, or you may be with that club for a year and a half. So the timeline is really, it can be ongoing. Most clubs and most coaches, and I've looked at the stats as Jan has, there's been a lot of success this year, and most of those coaches were not with the club for a terribly long period of time. So it is a long-term commitment for the most part, but you've got to keep that in mind.
I'd like to speak to that question as well briefly, Jen and Chris. The time commitment is really dependent on the club that you're coaching as well, and that's why it's important to find the right coach for the right club. As Chris mentioned, last year we did have great success with our coaches, and in some very trying situations in a few cases. But we knew what the clubs needed. We knew that the coaches that were interested in going in would focus their efforts on that, and in most cases we were very successful. So if you're up for a challenge and you want to take on a club that's really struggling in different ways, then I'm sure they could use your expertise. But if you want something where you're really looking to move your journey along and accomplish that sponsor, mentor, or coach, then we want to try to find a club that may be solid but just low in membership, and how we might be able to fit you with the right opportunity there. Once again, as Jan mentioned about, it's really important to look for that support, not only in the clubs that you're joining, but also in the leadership that's around you. Work with the area directors. Feel free to reach out to the district leaders. We're there to support you in any way we can and find the right match for you. So the time commitment is really something that fits in your personal and professional schedule, and not something that's going to be too onerous that you're not going to be able to follow through on. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yes, and we as a team are highly motivated to ensure that club coaches work as a team together with area directors. They're both they both have the same goal to support the club. Their mission is slightly different, but the more they can cooperate together, the better. And we need the clubs to support a coach. If a coach is assigned to a club, we have some ideas as to how the club can benefit most from that, and that is by understanding each individual roles. What is the role of the club? What is the role of the members? What is the role of the coach? And what is the role of the area director? And we'll help guide you through that as your journey progresses through. I'd like to acknowledge that we had one comment that went through. Thank you, Cord, for your comment. And if there are no other questions or comments,
there are a few questions online here. Just
okay. Thank you.
Cord has asked, are there clubs that function 100% online? It's not directly related to the purpose of this call, but yes, there are, but they're usually not non-districted. If they're 100% online, they are not assigned to a district. The ones that are assigned to a district that are online cannot be 100% online. They have to have local members. But I think Chris knows the answer to that one.
I believe 51% of the members need to be active in person at the club in order for it to be supported by the district. If there's not that large a percentage of members, then it does not have a district.
Okay, thank you. The other question
also, there are a couple.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, there are a couple clubs out in our district that are focused on supporting their remote clubs with online membership and support. So if a club needs that kind of support, reach out to the district leaders, and we can work with those clubs and try to find that support for you as well.
Great, thank you for that. And there's another question here from Cord also. Does Toastmasters accept clubs which have a specific criteria, such as being faith-based or Christian? And yes, we do have some specific Christian-based clubs, and there are specialty clubs that are faith-based or have other specific areas of focus.
Yes, and clubs other than the English language in their clubs are becoming a popular idea locally.
There was one other question earlier. Sorry, there was one other question earlier that I don't think we got to, unless I missed something. How does someone become a sponsor again? And I think that one would go to Jan or Chris.
Yes. The actual process. Send me an email. Let me know what idea you have for a new club, or ask me any questions. My contact information is on the site. There's not just one way to do it. But as for the actual protocol, yes, you can write into Toastmasters International as well to inquire. But if you cannot find another method, please send me a note, janirelanddtm@gmail.com, part of my learning curve, and I shall learn with you. So I see by the clock we're just about at time for closing. Was that the last
Jan,
question?
can I just give one more comment? Somebody had asked about clubs that have specific criteria. So there's different types of clubs. So we have advanced clubs that are just for people who are already Toastmasters and just want to advance their skills. And then we have they're called specialty clubs. So some of them are Christian clubs or other faiths. Then there's other kind of specialties. So one club that was really exciting when it chartered is a wine club. And this club it's a great club, really exciting meetings. But as part of their meeting, they do a wine tasting. They use the full Toastmasters program that they have. At some of their speeches will be about wine taste, about different wines and making wines and different subjects like that. But if you've got an idea, put your thinking cap on, and if you've got an idea, send it into the district, because I'm sure they would love to support you at that.
Excellent. Yes, and we have a Mandarin-speaking club that Start Thinking to form, and a French-speaking club, and an English as a second language club. You can think of it. You can gather people together and work the Toastmasters program through that. Then yes, possibilities are endless.
Imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have talked about sponsors and mentors who help a new club to be formed and to be supported, as well as coaches who help existing clubs. If you're in a club that has 13 or more members and is not eligible for a sponsor or a mentor or a coach, you can get help with other unofficial ways. Help each other, learn from each other, go to one another's meetings and steal their great ideas. So I hope you found this session helpful. If there are any questions that come in later that we don't answer, we'll certainly follow up on that. And just remembering the focus here, the focus of District 21 of the club growth position, actually, is to start new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Thank you so much to Jeff and Chris and Sean for co-hosting the meeting. Thank you for your questions and your comments. And please tune in for our next webinars. Next week, it's Pathways, the Basics. There are subjects on that have been selected right through to June, middle of June, for additional webinars. And our goal is to benefit the members of District 21. So if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'd appreciate hearing from you. We'll all grow and learn together.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jeff. And this ends the session. This session has been recorded. The recording will be placed on the District 21 website under the resources there. You'll see it under the Seminar Sundays, and it'll be a YouTube link that will be placed there later this evening or sometime tomorrow. Thank you all for attending. Please join us next week for another exciting Seminar Sunday as we go through the summer. Take care and have a great weekend and great day. Bye for now.